Coming to you live from the city of Port Phillip and broadcasting from my spare room. Welcome to the program. This episode breaks down the 2025 mayoral election for the city of Port Phillip. 9 councillors, 1 mayoralty, and a handful of shifting loyalties at the city of Port Phillip. We'll unpack who's in the race, how the mayor is chosen, and what this year's contest tell us about the leadership, trust, and ambition of one of Victoria's most interesting local councils. Let's go through the state of play of where we are at the moment. The City of Port Phillip Council is made up of 9 councillors in total, drawn predominantly from 3 main groupings if we run through them. Firstly, we've got the Labor councillors, which include Libby Buckingham, who is on the top left of this slide here, and Louise Crawford, who is the current mayor. Then Libby Buckingham's also been discussed as a potential ALP state candidate for Caulfield or Prahran at the next state election, which is important. Then we've got some independent councillors backed by Progressive Port Phillip, which were Alex Macon and Justin Halliday. And then we've also got some independent councillors, including Serge Taman in St Kilda and Heather Consolo in Port Melbourne. Now, there are 3 ratepayer-aligned councillors who have a dominant position, being the current Deputy Mayor Brian Mayers, Betty Jay, and also Rod Hardy. Last year's election of the mayor saw Louise Crawford take the mayoralty with Brian Mayers as deputy mayor, and Crawford's year in office has been steady, if occasionally stormy. Slow-moving capital projects, waste contract controversies, and also the ever-perennial St Kilda Marina saga seem to linger. Yet through it all, she's held a maintained discipline of council and a reputation for calm stewardship. Meanwhile, Alex Macon has been positioning as the voice of reason, so to speak, analytical, measured, and increasingly active behind the scenes. Serge Taman, the veteran councillor, continue his long pursuit of the mayoralty also among this, a personal ambition years in the making. But ultimately, if you look at the crowd of people here in terms of these 9 councillors, there's probably really contenders Libby Buckingham, Louise Crawford, Alex Macon, Serge Taman, and I also wouldn't rule out Brian Mayers being in the mix also. But there's probably also narrowed down, for the reasons I'll go into in a moment, down to probably 3 people. So let's go through how the game is played in the Port Phillip Mayor. Port Phillip Mayor is not elected by the voters. They're chosen from within the 9 councillors. That's simple maths. All we need is 5 votes before the formal meeting takes place to make sure that you get the majority of support so you can become mayor. Usually what happens at the City of Port Phillip is there's a meeting before the formal meeting of councillors. It's held behind closed doors and a ballot is usually taken. I've actually got a small video here of the room it takes place in. This is one of the meeting rooms in the City of Port Phillip Town Hall down there in St Kilda, where the councillors will sit around somewhere tomorrow during the day. They will nominate, and usually they do a speech to their fellow councillors to work out who is going to be the mayor before the meeting. There's certain reasons for that, which I'll go through in a moment. It's not a binding decision, this informal process, but it is fairly decisive. The chamber prefers unity. So what starts as a backroom negotiation usually ends with a unanimous vote for optics purposes, except as short speeches, polite applause, and also prearranged outcomes wrapped in civic theatre, so to speak, is what you'll see tomorrow on Wednesday when the election is held. So what's at stake here? The council roles are more than just ceremonial now. They're paid positions with real incentives attached. Now the current mayor earns somewhere in the vicinity of $140,000. The deputy mayor actually gets paid a premium, which is why it's a sought-after position of somewhere around $70,000, I think it is. Someone feel free to correct me if I've got that wrong. And councillors now earn in excess of $40,000 also. So it's not bad for what's marketed as community service. That paycheck means competition for the top chair is more than symbolic. It's political currency in many respects. So here's the prediction there's three main contenders, as I understand it, for the mayoralty tomorrow when it comes to hear what's going on. Ultimately, there's only 9 people that really know what's going on in this battle, and I haven't spoken to any of them, so this could be wrong and all hearsay. But I think Crawford, Macon, and Taman are probably the 3 that will be brought up. I don't expect Libby Buckingham to put her hand up as she's an endorsed ALP councillor. There's very strict rules within the ALP about challenging for positions, particularly mayoral positions. So expect only Crawford and Buckingham, one of the 2, to put their hands up. It was interesting watching the interview on Twist, which I strongly suggest you do. Louise's interview this week rather, that was launched on Sunday or released on Sunday with Greg Day. She wouldn't confirm if she was running, but she obviously didn't rule out that she was retiring. She didn't say she was retiring. So I've also heard through the grapevine that Louise won't put her hand up unless she has the 5 vote support. So there's interesting machinations going on here at the moment. Crawford has Labor backing and is the strongest record, but faces internal fatigue, particularly after the first year. It's been a huge first year for the city of Port Phillip. They've had some very big events. The synagogue event, the synagogue arson attack, let's call it what it is, anti-Semitic attack, was a huge opportunity for leadership for Louise Crawford, which she stood up for, but so did Libby Buckingham. So they've been tested, they've been tried, but there's a lot going on at this council at the moment. There might be a mood for change amongst councillors. And the person probably best positioned to capitalise that on the moment is Macon. He's been quietly securing the support from the 3 ratepayers councillors, I understand, giving him a core group of votes. He needs to get very, very close to the magic 5 number. Taman remains in the mix, a sentimental favourite, but likely to come short on numbers unless a surprise deal emerges, which who knows, it may. So expect consensus theatre on election night, a united front, an announcement that will be made, conceals weeks of negotiations and deal-making behind the scenes. So here's the final thought. Being the mayor of the city of Port Phillip isn't about photo ops. It's about managing complexity, egos, and expectation. Whoever takes the chair will inherit a council that prizes solidarity and hides its fractions well. As always, power doesn't change people, it reveals them. So let's see who's revealed on Wednesday night. But I think it will probably be Alex Macon that will walk out of the chamber mayor on Wednesday, which surprises me because I thought Louise would probably be the favourite. But don't rule out even some, some surprises in terms of perhaps Louise will step down and let Libby Buckingham run, or even maybe Brian Mayers can use the substantial support and perhaps do a deal with Serge Taman or even Justin Halliday. But it's going to be a fascinating mix to see who actually wins this election. And I think it will be down to these 3 people, Alex Macon, Louise Crawford, and Serge Taman. But only time will tell. We'll have to wait and see what the final result is. Whoever it is, I wish them all the very best of luck. It's a tenuous time after a first year. There'll be a lot of pressure from councillors to get things moving and get things done. And the general perception of the City of Port Phillip Council is that it's been very collegial in terms of a lot of unanimous votes, but they've cancelled a lot of meetings of council. They've considered generally less items. They've been cutting a lot of ribbons from the previous 3 councils, really. It's now time for this council to stand up and make its mark. Who will be the best person to lead this council in its all-important, probably the most important year, is the second year to get things done and get things moving in this term. As always, very happy to receive your feedback. Any gossip you've got, any information, any views you've got, feel free to share them. My phone number is 0478 136 762 and my email address is hello@marcuspearl.com.